Happy Friday, April 22nd, 2022. Squirrels everywhere. Squirrels are out. Getting a little squirrely. Oh my gosh. Hopefully this camera is good. I just dropped my daughter off from school and we had a little discussion about masking. Since they've dropped the mandates on all this at the state levels, and basically the courts have forced the states to drop it, because they're protecting the rights of the individual, which they should. But now you've got the Department of Justice fighting back, and I saw today, it's well, we need to make sure that the CDC has the ability to act and, implement these mandates when necessary to protect the American people. It's always about protecting the American people, because we are so stupid that we don't know how to protect ourselves. We need to have some government agency that has all kinds of side bets, has all kinds of skin in the game and benefits from all of these things. We need to have them tell us what to do, because, the good old boy network, we're all going to benefit from it and off the American people's backs, as usual, because that's what happens. But anyway, my daughter and I had a discussion today, and she said that I don't want it to go back to the way it was. And I said, what do you mean? She says, I don't want to have to wear a mask again. I said, I don't blame you. I wouldn't either. She says, but this other girl in her class, she wants it to go back the way it is. And I said, she wants to wear a mask? She wants everybody to wear a mask? And she said, yeah. I said, well, does she wear a mask now? And she said, no. I said, well, then why does she want to force everybody else to wear a mask when she's not wearing one now? The mentality of certain people, and this comes from her parents. It's not the child's fault. My daughter's a reflection of me. Absolutely. Like a mirror image. Attitude and everything. But you've got people who want to enforce their thoughts on you, but they're not acting in the same way. It's like somebody telling you what to do, or someone actually getting next to you and teaching you how to do it. That's what a leader is. Gets in there and does it, shows you how to do it, says, hey, nothing's beneath me. Let's go. That's what a general does. But then you've got other people who just want to tell you what to do, but then they don't do it themselves. That's absolutely ridiculous. But you see it. You see the mentality at the young level, and you see how the entrainment begins, and that psychology, and whatever that is, that mentality I don't get, but it's there. It's like a bully who pounds on you all the time, beats you up, and gets in your face, and is mean, and they'll do it, and they'll do it, and they'll do it, and they'll do it until you punch them in the face, or you call them out on it, and then they're your best friend. I mean, the mentality of such a thing it's crazy. I don't get it. It's not me. Let's let people live how they want to live. Leave them alone. Honestly, you want the truth here? Which is what I usually do. If you want the truth here, I just want to be left alone. I want people to leave me alone. Don't interfere in my life. Don't tell me how to live. Leave me alone. That's it. If I want to engage, if I want to, talk, and, if I want to have, go to a meetup, I'll go to a meetup. Yeah, but, when I'm in my personal space, when I'm at home, leave me alone. I don't want anybody telling me how to live. Don't tell me what I'm doing right and wrong, because you know what? I'm going to do it. I just want to do it. Now, if I ask for help, that's another thing. It's like, hey, what do you think about this? Is this a good way to do it or not do it? Otherwise, I'll figure it out. So don't be telling me I got to wear a mask. Don't be telling me I got to go get, pricked. Don't be telling me, this is what I need to do to my body. Okay, so, but it's just frustrating to see, a child, young kid, not respecting other people's freedom and not being taught that. It's crazy. And, but you're going to kill people. And, and I said, well, why? Why is she not wearing the mask? I asked my daughter. She says, well, it's over. The whole, the C thing, the disease, the plague is over now. I said, but it's not over. I mean, people are still getting it. I said, but we're not dropping dead because we took the masks off. And we had kind of a discussion on government and on people and how when people tell you to do something, and what she brought it up and she says, oh yeah, when people say it's free. And I'm kind of like, yeah, you go girl. And we have the discussion about free. Nothing's free. And someone might give you something, but they expect something in return typically. Nothing's free. There's always an attachment. It may not be a monetary value that's attached to it. It may be free as far as money, but is it free as far as your energy? You do something for somebody and they think, don't worry about it. You'll help me out later. And then it's always, okay, what's he going to ask for? What are they going to need? And then the phone call comes, or, the message, or whatever it is. Hey, can you help me out with this? And then you're like, probably should, even though I really don't want to do this, but I'm probably going to have to do it because, he gave me that thing and, so I'm obligated. See, everybody expects something. So nothing is free. And that's why it's nice to hold your own money in your own possession, because you've taken your energy and you've stored it up into this stuff. So if you want to do something later, you can tap that energy resource and say, hey, come out here and cut down this tree, or hey, do this for me. And at least you give them something. And I'm not demeaning the fact that, trading labor and stuff like that, it's a good thing, but it's got to be a mutual understanding thing. It can't be this obligation, this attachment, this hook that gets put in you when someone gives you something. So we had that discussion, my daughter and I, about what's free, and nothing's free. And I use the example, she's 8, but I don't care. I'm honest and I'll talk about anything with her. And I want her to be educated. I want her to understand, because nobody teaches the things that you need to know until it's too late. And why didn't somebody tell me about money? Why didn't somebody tell me that there are bad people in the world, that there are vampires in the world? Well, that's what I do. That's why I'm here. So we talked about, I gave her the example. It's like, all right, take for instance a drug dealer. Somebody gives, what they do is they give you your first taste for free. They give you something and said, here, you can have this. It's free. You don't pay anything for it with money, and then you take it. And you become addicted. Then you like it. Then you want more. And so you go back to that guy, and all the money that you make doing other things, that's all you want to do is get that drug. And they know that. That's what they do. They get you hooked. They get you addicted. But they give it to you free at first, because they know if you just taste it, if you just have some of it, if you just buy a bottle of that Westwood whiskey, you're going to love it and come back for more. They get you hooked on that thing. And so that's the plan. That's it. And if you take that example and apply that to government, medical industry, any industry, it's the same. They just want to get you hooked on their drugs, whatever it is. And my daughter gets it. And some people, why are you talking to your 8-year-old daughter about this stuff? Because no one's going to lay it out honestly, because they're going to use, anyway, you get in the school system, they got their own agenda. And they're going to teach it the way they want to teach it. But it's important to just be honest. When the topic comes up, just discuss it. And don't sugarcoat the stuff. It's just, we've had enough of the deception. We've had enough of the lies and just, it's for your own good. National security. We don't want you to be worried about it. It's like, okay, just release the alien information already. Just, and they're letting it out, and that's it. It's there for you to see. But I mean, we're always worried about, it's going to cause us mass psychosis in the public. You know what? Release it all. Dump it all. Put it all out there. Let's get this over with. Sick and tired of spoon feeding. You're either awake now or you're not. You've gone through this 2-year mass ritual, this psychological exercise, and it's time to wake up, people. It's time to finally say, all right, just give me the truth. Just tell me the truth. And I saw today there's a whistleblower that's going to come out for Pfizer that's talking about, they got all this stuff ramped up, this mRNA distribution, all the channels, all this was ready to go before the pandemic, before it happened. Rolled out awfully smoothly, didn't it? Boy, they had it ready to go, huh? Yeah, they did have it ready to go, and that's the point. I mean, you just got to critically think about this stuff. It was ready to go. And then you ask yourself, okay, well, They knew it was ready to go. It's just like Building 7 falling down. Well, how were the demolition, the bombs put in there, the explosive devices so that it would fall down, pancake, and fall down like a controlled demolition when that takes, weeks to put that in. Well, and they just decided to do it that day and pull it down, as Larry Silverstein said, pull it. Then you start asking yourself, wait a minute, this had to be like planned out, right? This had to be done beforehand in order for this to occur on that day. Building 7. It's the same thing with this rollout of these pricks, these prick vials. Vials of pricks. That's what we have everywhere. Vials of pricks in every industry. So they had it ready to go. It was ready to roll out. And you ask yourself, all right, okay, so they planned this one. They plan everything out. And that's the thing. They've got all these resources, all these entities, all these decades of money, fake money that they've been able to use and extract from us and rob us of our wealth, and they don't use it for good things. It'd be one thing if we had a benevolent dictator, a king that was, loved the people and looked out for humanity, and he could just say, hey, whatever he says is done. And if he had good intentions and if he were a good person, that wouldn't be so bad. It would be a very efficient form of government. But the problem is human beings are flawed, mixtures of good and evil. And if you give one person too much power, they're going to abuse it. If you give entities too much power, they're going to abuse it. They're going to try to enrich themselves and empower themselves. See, once they enrich themselves, they're like, okay, once these people realize how we've screwed them, they're going to come after me. So then they have to get more tyrannical. Then they have to figure out ways to, well, let's weaken them. Let's exterminate them. Let's fluoridate the water. Hey, let's shoot them up with all kinds of garbage, that's untested. Let's spray a bunch of stuff in the air. Let's pollute everything we can in the food supply. Genetically modify everything that they eat. Let's make them weak, because if we don't bring them down, we're going to be in trouble. They're going to figure out what we've been doing to them, and they might come after us, because that's what happens in history. It goes one way too far, and then the people rise up and they say, all right, enough is enough. And then it gets ugly. It gets very bloody, and people's heads get cut off. And it's not a good situation, because then, more tyranny fosters itself. And then you got people, become tyrannical, and because, we're all good and evil, and so, what once was a good uprising to get rid of bad people, well, now there's bad people in that. And French Revolution, you start having situations like that, and that's not good. That's a bad thing. So it's better to identify and shine the light of truth on these vampires while you still can, before you have a major uprising. You don't want that kind of thing. What you want is to call them out as it happens. That's the last thing they want, though. They don't want to be exposed for what they've done. I mean, we're living through it. We're living through one of those moments to where, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, they're going to look back and say, man, didn't you realize what they were doing to you? Couldn't you tell what was going on? They're giving you an experimental drug. They were having you participate in this game, where you walk around, with little masks on. That didn't do any good. I mean, didn't you read the box? I mean, what's wrong with you people then? Grandpa, didn't you read the box? Didn't you read the Lysol can? Where coronavirus has existed, way before it may hit the mainstream news. It's nothing new. It's just like the flu. Let's go full Dr. Seuss at this point. Yeah, it's not the flu. They're screwing you. You gotta wake up and realize all this stuff. They're just doing it. I mean, and it's nothing. And back to the discussion that I had with my daughter, that she had with her school friend about masks or no masks, to mask or not to mask. That is the question. I said, this has been around forever. I mean, diseases have all been around. Virus has been around forever. And, this particular one, it's been around, way before they started talking about it. And the fact that they started talking about it, and that's why people get worked up. Now it's the bird flu. Now everybody's getting upset. They're killing chickens. We got to slaughter all these chickens. Well, then you can't eat because they're not laying eggs and you don't have the chickens. So we got to slaughter all these birds because we don't want bird flu. This bird flu thing just goes around and around and around and back and forth. And it's just like, oh my gosh, here we go again. Why don't we just mask all the chickens? I mean, sounds good enough to me. Just put little masks on the chickens and it should be fine. That should prevent all this. No big deal at that point. But it's just this constant fear-mongering and whipping people up into this frenzy so that they don't think rationally. They don't step back and say, wait a minute, you're going to kill every freaking chicken? And now it's don't put bird feeders out because, I guess it could cross-contaminate somehow, different birds coming through and this and that. Animals get sick too. I mean, you think everything you eat is healthy? You think even wild meat is healthy? I mean, you got wasting deer disease, whatever it's called out there. It was rampant for a while. I mean, it's a living creature. It can pick up things, eat something bad. It can do something, have something in its system. Who knows what gets in there? Parasites. I mean, you got all these things that are inside meat. And you think that it's going to be just fine, that you can just go out and eat it. And we've done it for centuries and thousands of years, since the beginning of time, though. You cook it. I mean, you do what you got to do to kill the stuff. But it's always in there. And now everybody's going to freak out because, 3 chickens have developed, bird disease, bird flu. And it's just this constant BS. And, this new variant subcategory 3A-51, really need to look out for it. May have to bring back the mandate on planes and public transportation. It's very deadly and dangerous. All of this was a lie, okay? It was all a lie. People died, and they called it something that it wasn't. They labeled it a virus. I mean, that's the only reason the numbers are skewed. That's why they went up so high, because they were false reporting everything. It's all propaganda. All propaganda. Yes, people get sick. People get sick from everything. It's just, everything that everybody got sick and died, let's put it this way, everything that everybody died from in the last 2 years, they just called it one thing. Instead of a massive heart attack, instead of, liver disease, instead of lung cancer, instead of, a massive car accident. They tested positive for the virus. So we're going to call it that. So they skew the numbers that way. And I see today, I saw a report that said alcohol consumption is up, during the pandemic, because people were at home and they're sitting at home. What do you think they're going to do? You lock them into the house. See, they know exactly what's going to happen. You put people into the house where, okay, let's see, what am I going to do? Well, I guess I'll get online and I'll start drinking. And of course, that's what happens because, you're by yourself, escape this reality, trying to get into an altered state. And so, people are drinking more. So they're concerned now that, there may be some cases of alcoholism and liver disease, exploding. And then I saw a report about kids, the CDC, I think it's the CDC, saying that, doctors should be aware that, kids like under ages of 10, there's been a few of them that have had hepatitis. Like, what the frick? Where are they getting this at? What is this? Is this a side effect of something? I don't know. But the fact is, they reported it, so there's something to it. What that truth is, I don't know. I think you're going to see a lot more problems because, you put an experimental drug in your body. What do you think's going to happen? Oh, and guess what? You have no recourse. Can't sue the pharmaceutical companies because, it is what it is. Well, it was emergency use authorization. It never cleared through all FDA protocols. And even if it did, it doesn't matter. The Food and Death Administration, that's all they do it's all about money. But they're going to say, well, you chose to put it in your body. Yeah, it was experimental. Yeah, it was emergency use. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. It's just like asbestos is good. Asbestos, look at the old commercials, asbestos is the greatest material ever, and then people, 30, 40 years later, well, we got problems. We got all this stuff in our lungs. We're dropping dead because, we're breathing asbestos. But they don't care. And they see, the thing is, a lot of people will look at it and say, well, they didn't know. They had no idea. They didn't realize at the time how bad it was for human beings. I make the argument of, yes, they did. They knew all the studies. They just hid the studies. And then it comes out always that they did know. But it's too far removed. We're too far removed from it that we're pissed off anymore. It's like, oh, what really happened on 9/11? Oh, well, shoot, that was over 20 years ago. I have kids that, weren't even born. I have no concept. They're just reading it through the lens of, whatever's written in history. Well, I happen to live through it, happen to see it, happen to see the propaganda at the time, and that's what woke me up. Because I'm like, this isn't right. This doesn't make any sense. What are they talking about? Oh, and then all of a sudden, we need the TSA now. We need Homeland Security. We need the Patriot Act. They have all this stuff ready to go and roll out. Lock down people, because they knew that the monetary system was collapsing and they needed to control us as they engineered it into oblivion and came up with a new plan. Take your CBDCs, folks. See, it's all engineered. Everything is planned. And to think that they didn't know how harmful something was, how deadly something was at the time, and, oh, now we're just finding out, darn it. Gosh, if we'd only known then, they did know then. And that's the thing you've got to understand. They know everything they're doing. Could have come back and 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and say, yeah, those first pricks, they caused some problems. That's fixed now, though. No worries now. No, we didn't put simian virus in, polio shots? Was it SV40 or something in the polio shots? It's not dangerous. Mercury's good for you. It's a preservative. It pickles you. It's good for you. Thimerosal is good for you. They just don't care. They just don't care. Fluoride's good for you. It's a byproduct of the, heavy manufacturing, metal industry, and they need to get rid of some toxic waste. What do you do with it? Sell it to the public water supplies. Go up to Michigan and, convince them. There's some guy, I think it was out of Michigan, that, got this pushed on water supplies and municipalities, and then it just spread like wildfire because it's like, well, we can sell this to the cities. All this byproduct, all this waste, and call it good. It's fluoride. It's good for you. Put it on your teeth. You go to the doctor. You put it on your teeth. And here's the thing. I guess it's one thing topically. If you put it on your teeth, it may be good. It may not be good. I don't know. The fact is, though, when you put it into the water supply, I drink a lot of water. So I'm getting a lot more of it. So how do you, how many parts per million are you supposed to have? And it's only for topical. So what if I'm drinking it through a straw? It's not hitting my teeth. Just going right into my organs. Was it good for the organs? I don't know. Is fluoride good for the organs? Is it good for the pineal gland? What's it good for? I don't know. Put it in your toothpaste, that's one thing, you're topically applying it. But when you have it in the water, it's not really hitting the teeth a lot of times. So what good is it? Is it good to go through your body and your organs? I don't know. It's just something to ask, but nobody asks the question. Nobody asks. And then you look at the history of it, how it got added. You think, well, this is sketchy. But, we're so far removed from it now that it's just a way of life. No big deal. Just drink it. It's good for you. It's healthy. 4 out of 5 dentists agree. Good stuff. It's dosages. What's the proper dosage in the water? If you're only supposed to have 1 16-ounce glass of water a day because of the parts per million of fluoride in it, what do you do about the rest of the day when you're supposed to drink a gallon a day? I don't know. What do you do? Which reminds me of portioning. I saw something to where some wedding, they put marijuana or THC, I don't know. I think they put marijuana. They baked it in the lasagna for the wedding guests. A bunch of them got sick, because, if you're not used to that stuff, it really gets to you. But I'll bet that was an interesting wedding. It was probably the high point of their lives. So, I don't know. It's about, it's like, what if you go back for a second piece of lasagna, which I would have done? Really getting messed up. It's just like, what are people thinking? I don't understand it. I can ramble on forever about some of this stuff and rant, but you just got to think. All this stuff is engineered. It's all pre-planned. It's so simple when you step back and look at it. And at first you think, oh, it couldn't be. They're not that evil, are they? Well, why do you think I keep saying they're vampires? Because that's who's in power. That's who's controlling you. Once you understand that, it's very simple. A child can understand it. Hey, there are vampires. Where are they? Well, look at them. You can tell by looking at them. Chuck Schumer. You know, you look at these people, and they're just creepy. Absolutely creepy people running everything. And they smile. Like Bill Gates, he'll just smile when he talks about people dying. And, oh, you know, we're going to have to just, you know, give shots to the world. And, you know, it's for the greater good. And, I mean, they're just creepy. I mean, you can't see that. You can't see that they're vampires and they're like these comic book villains. I mean, just the ultimate villain caricatures. I mean, we can see that as children. What happens when we grow up? We get stupid. We think that these people are actually, you know, not lying to us and they're looking out for us. Seriously? How's that working out for you? How's your paycheck looking? How's your purchasing power looking? How much is that gas a gallon? How much is that diesel a gallon? How much is that ground beef now? How much is that dozen eggs? Dad was talking about that. He's going to Aldi. I mean, prices at Aldi have just skyrocketed. I mean, it's just done. He said they used to be, I don't know, 85 cents, 99 cents, $1 something. I mean, he went the other week, he said, like at Easter, before Easter, he says, they're $1.99 a dozen. It's over double. You know, it's just going up. And then he went the other day, it's $2.19 a dozen. Yep. Bird flu. Killing chickens. Need little chicken masks. That'll fix it. I'm telling you. But, yeah, they're not looking out for your best interests. Pretty obvious, isn't it? Pretty evident. Just got to open your eyes, pay attention. What do you do about it? You got to put your money somewhere else. You got to put your money into something that's going to have some value. You know, I constantly preach about Litecoin, but, I mean, if you're going to live in a digital world and you're going to participate in the digital society and not go full steampunk, if you're going to do that, which we kind of all are having to do, it's going to be digital. They're going to use digital currency. They're going to give you a CBDC, central bank digital currency. You don't want that. You want to have sound money for the digital age. You want to have currency money that works in the digital age that you can hold in your possession, that the government can't control, the central bank can't control. That's why I harp on Litecoin all the time, because it's sound money for the digital age. Hold it in your own possession. Send it anywhere in the world. Nobody can stop you from doing that. It's got a network that's been running for over 10.5 years. They've just implemented Taproot, a new technology. They're activating Mimblewimble. It'll be activated by like mid-May, May 20th, something like that. Offers privacy in your transactions. Anonymity when you send money. So nobody knows how much you're sending. Nobody knows how much you have in your wallet. It's opt-in. You don't have to do it. You can be completely transparent. I mean, put it all on the blockchain like it is now. But if it's your money and your energy, shouldn't you have some level of security? Some privacy? I think so. That's why it's sound money for the digital age. That's why I harp on Litecoin. That's why it's such an important thing. We're living in a digital world. It's very important to have digital money that works, that has worked, that's proven the test of time. Litecoin is that. Way undervalued asset. Probably the most undervalued digital asset out there. That's for the digital world. You want to hold something in your own possession, you want it in your hand, physical silver. Cans of beans, cans of food, seeds that grow, heirloom seeds. I mean, things that have real value that you can use. Very important. So as they rob us and continue to rob us and continue to lie and deceive us, as they try to have us use their poker chips in their casino, these vampires, it's important to realize that and to do something about it. You got Litecoin, you got physical silver, all these other things. Only you know what that is. What's best for you and your family. Just got to identify the problem, come up with a solution. If you can't identify the problem and you don't think anything's wrong, and you're just waiting for everybody to mask up again because you're living in fear, then you're the problem. All right, enough of my ranting. Tell you what, I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful Friday. Probably will not be a happy hour today with Lisa and I. I think she's traveling to Utah. She's going to speak at an event. So I may do a spaces on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, you can follow me, Clint Westwood. Just go to my website, clintwestwood.net. I have all the details. You can follow me on YouTube, Twitter. I've got a bunch of links out there, even referral links. If you sign up for something, use that. I mean, you get something in return, and it helps me, supports me. I've got my videos linked out there. I've got everything linked out there. I got some good videos out there if you want to learn about crypto. I mean, it's free. I mean, just go out there and click away and learn something. If you have any questions, my email's out there. Email me. I'll try to get back to you. It takes me some time sometimes, but I do get back to you. So, clintwestwood.net has all the information for everything I talk about. And you know what? You got to trust yourselves in this world. Don't trust these vampires, man. You got to trust yourself. You know the answers. You believe in yourself. You know the answers. You know the answers. You got to let yourself know that. Don't let these other people convince you otherwise, because they're not looking out for you. All right. I love you all. Hope you have a wonderful Friday. I hope you have a great weekend. And if I don't make any videos or this weekend, I'll probably see you Monday. All right. I love you all. Trust yourselves.